Hey y'all, it's Ashlyn here. It has been a while. At least, what, since December? I apologize for disappearing. However, I am back. um and we're going to talk about some things that I picked up from the thrift store, and then we're also going to talk about a couple of things that I got from the library. We're going to bring back book hauls, library hauls, thrift store hauls. We're also going to bring back what I've read and my opinions on what I've read. And we're also going to bring back Hoopla, what I'm reading or watching or listening to on Hoopla and Libby. So, strap in, guys, because I am back. I promise. Okay, I guess currently I do not have Libby, but I have Hoopla. And we're currently working on Rumble by Ellen Hopkins. Jay's Journal by Anonymous is the Anonymous series, book number 4, I believe. There's a book called End of Story by Kylie Scott that we're going to start. It says, when Susie Bowen inherits a charming fixer-upper from her aunt, she's excited to start living her best HGTV life. But when she opens the door to find that her contractor is none other than her ex's best friend, Lars, the same man who witnessed their humiliating public breakup 6 months ago, she isn't exactly eager to have anyone around whose alliances is with the enemy. But beggars can't be choosers, and the sooner the repairs are done, the sooner she can get back to the embracing singledom. Things go from awkward to unbelievable when Lars discovers a divorce certificate hidden in a wall and dated 10 years in the future with both their names on it. It couldn't possibly be real, could it? As Susie and Lars work to unravel the document's origins, the impossibility of a spark between them suddenly doesn't seem so far-fetched. But would a relationship between them be doomed before it's even begun? Oh, so I did not see that one coming. I just picked it because it was on display at the library, and this is right what it looks like. Just looked interesting. I said end of story, so I guess I'll read the synopsis for Ellen Hopkins. Can an atheist be saved? The New York Times bestselling author of Crank and Tricks explores the highly charged landscapes of faith and forgiveness with brilliant sensitivity and emotional resonance. There is no God, no benevolent ruler of the earth, no omnipotent grand poobah of countless universes. Because if there was, my little brother would still be fishing or playing basketball instead of fertilizing cemetery vegetation. Oh. Matthew Turner doesn't have faith in anything, not in family. His is a shambles after his younger brother was bullied into suicide, not in so-called friends who turn their backs when things get tough, not in some all-powerful creator who lets too much bad stuff happen, and certainly not in some it gets better psychobabble. No matter what his girlfriend Hayden says about faith and forgiveness, there's no way Matt's letting go of blame. He's decided to live large and go out with a huge bang, and whatever happens, happens. But when a horrific event plunges Matt into a dark, silent place, he hears a rumble that wakes him, calling everything he's ever disbelieved into question. Okay. Jay's Journal is another emotional one. Jay was a sweet, bright high school student who cared about his grades and his friends. He had ambitions, he was happy, and he thought he could handle anything. He was wrong. When Jay falls in with a crowd that's dabbling in drugs and the occult, he finds himself in over his head and doing things he never thought possible. Fascinated by the dark arts and in love with a dangerous girl, Jay falls deeper and deeper into a life he no longer recognizes and sees no way out. Alright. Then we have Hooked by Emily McIntyre, which everybody should know this one by now. I find it on TikTok, Book Talk, all the time. Alright, so it says, He wants revenge, but he wants her more. Once upon a time there was a little boy, his belly full of laughter, his life full of joy, until one day something changed, stripped his innocence away, the hole inside making space for the devil to come and play. His dreams gone forever, he grew up way too fast, an endless night of crocodiles and watches made of glass. He grew into a villain, the taste of vengeance on his tongue, craving to make his enemies pay for the misdeeds they had done. Instead he found a darling girl and refused to let her go, for what better way to make the man pay than to steal his little shadow? Hooked is a full and complete standalone in the Never After series, a collection of dark romances where the villain gets the girl. It is not a literal retelling. It is a dark contemporary romance and not a fantasy. Featuring mature themes and content that may not be suitable for all audiences, listener discretion is advised. And the last one we have is, another anonymous book. It's called Letting Anna Go. By the Anonymous series. In the tradition of Go Ask Alice and Lucy in the Sky, a harrowing account of anorexia and addiction. She was a good girl from a good family with everything she could want or need, but below the surface she felt like she could never be good enough, like she could never live up to the expectations that surrounded her, like she couldn't do anything to make a change. But there was one thing she could control completely: how much she ate. The less she ate, the better, stronger she felt. But it's a dangerous game, and there is such a thing as going too far. Her innermost thoughts and feelings are chronicled in the diary she left behind. So those are on my Hoopla. Okay. I did recently add another favorite, and it is two of them actually. There is one by Tiffany Brooks called The Girl Who Knew Too Much. It looks like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. Looks like that. It is interesting, to say the least, as a thriller and teen. And then I am going to be starting a series called Kissed by an Angel by Elizabeth Chandler. Like this. And there's like 6 books in it. And I found one at the library that has the first 3 books. So it goes Kissed by an Angel, The Power of Love, Soulmates, and then Evercrossed. So there's 4 books right there. And then there's like a dark series one too. So there's those. I don't think there was anything else I added on this. Oh, here's an ebook that I'm looking for. It's called The Notebook Girls. It is written by multiple people. It's published by Grand Central Publishing, and it's under family and relationships and adolescence. And it looks like this. And so if you guys come across this, please let me know in the comments. So there's what I'm reading on Hoopla. Now let's go ahead and quickly get into this. By the way, I apologize in advance. This video may be a little long. Sorry. Alright, so I have no idea about this. This is called The Face on the Milk Carton by Caroline B. Cooney, author of Whatever Happened to Janie, The Voice on the Radio, What Janie Found, and What Janie Saw. Looks like this. It's only 184 pages. It says no one ever really paid close attention to the faces of the missing children on the milk cartons, but as Janie Johnson glanced at the face on the ordinary little girl with her hair in tight pigtails, wearing a dress with a narrow white collar, a 3-year-old who had been kidnapped 12 years before from a shopping mall in New Jersey, she felt overcome with shock. She recognized that little girl. It was she. How could it possibly be true? And Janie can't believe that her loving parents kidnapped her, but as she begins to piece things together, nothing makes sense. Something is terribly wrong, and Mr. and Miss Johnson really... Are Mr. and Miss Johnson really her parents? And if not, who is Janie Johnson, and what really happened? So, okay. Interesting. Next, we're not really going to explain this one. This is Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. I have absolutely no idea what this is about. I've heard so much about it, but I've never actually, read it. I don't think. I might have. In school, maybe? I'm not sure. I really cannot recall. Wuthering Heights is set on the bleak Pennine Moors, a fitting backdrop to the story of love, torment, and revenge in a landscape familiar to Emily Bronte. Heathcliff is a foundling adopted and raised as one of the Earnshaw children. With this act of charity, the seeds of ardent love and jealousy are planted. Catherine Earnshaw becomes devoted to Heathcliff, while her brother Hindley always views him as a rival for Wuthering Heights. Their passions grow to involve their friends, the Lintons, spilling over to affect the next generation until Catherine and Heathcliff are reunited for eternity. This is like a glorified version of Romeo and Juliet. I'm just curious. Asking for a friend. Alright, next I got this because it's Mary Downing Hahn, and I had a book by her that a friend gave me. I think it was like all the... Oh wait, Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. I was thinking about All the Lovely Bad Bones, but that's not right. And this is called Wait Till Helen Comes. It's a ghost story. I can't read what it says. Here, I'll just read the first page. Shivering with fear, I climbed out the window and ran through the grass, already cold and wet with dew. Keeping in the shadow of the hedge, I crept past the gate, staying outside the graveyard until I reached the black shade of the oak tree. Dropping to my knees, I peered through the hedge at Helen's grave. My bad. Dimly lit by the blue glow I'd seen from the house, Heather held out a jar of wildflowers as if she were making an offering. Helen, are you here? Too frightened to breathe, I saw the glimmer of blue light shape itself into the figure of a girl no bigger than Heather. She wore a white dress, and her hair, as dark as Heather's, tumbled in waves down her back. Her features were indistinct, her eyes in shadow, but I knew who she was. I'm here, the girl said. I don't know if you guys know who Mary Downing Hahn is, but she's a really good, I don't know if this is a chapter book, so I guess this would kind of be like middle grade, but she writes really good stories. She has a book called Took, All the Lovely Bad Bones, Clothes for the Season, The Doll in the Garden, The Ghost of Crutchfield Hall, Guest, and The Old Willis Place. And they all look super freaking creepy. Except that one, which I didn't even name. This is Time for Andrew. A ghost story. I don't know. But yeah, I have this on special order. So there's that. Next, we have another one that I had on special order. This is brand new. This is Love Pamela by Pamela Anderson. This is her documentary. And all it says on the back is, to live and dream is a wicked dance. My dreams often come true, a curse and a blessing. So, she's a blonde bombshell image, was ubiquitous in the 1990s. Discovered in the stands during a Canadian football game, she was quickly launched into superstardom, becoming Playboy's favorite cover girl and an emblem of Hollywood glamour and sex appeal. Yet the Pamela Anderson we think we know was created through happenstance rather than careful cultivation. Love Pamela brings forth her true story, that of a small-town girl getting tangled up in her own dreams. She grew up on Vancouver Island. She's the daughter of a young, wild, and unwittingly stylish parents. Pamela lived a hard-scrabble childhood but developed a deep love for nature, populating her world with misfits, aberrational friends, and animals in need. Eventually overcoming her natural shyness, Pamela let her restless imagination propel her into a life few can dream of, in Hollywood and the Playboy Mansion. As her star rose, she found herself becoming a fixture of tabloid fodder at the height of an era when paparazzi tactics were bent on destroying a person's image and self-esteem. Pamela forged ahead with grace, finding sanctuary in her love of art and literature, and emerged a devoted mother and activist. Now, having returned to the island of her childhood after a memorable run starring as Roxy in Chicago on Broadway, Pamela is telling her story, a story of an irrepressible free spirit coming home and discovering herself anew at every turn, with vivid prose interspersed with bursts of original poetry. Love Pamela is a pensive, layered, and unforgettable memoir. So there's some poems in here that she did herself, and then there's her story as well. So I'm here for it. I don't really know her that well, but yeah. All right. Next we have T. Kingfisher's A House with Good Bones. This is on my to be read list. It says, Mom seems off. Her brother's words echo in Sam Montgomery's ears. She turns onto the quiet North Carolina street where their mother lives alone. She brushes the thought away as she climbs the front steps. Sam's excited for this rare extended visit and looking forward to nights with just the two of them, drinking boxed wine, watching murder mystery shows, and guessing who the killer is long before the characters figure it out. But stepping inside, she quickly realizes home isn't what it used to be. Gone is the warm, cluttered charm her mom is known for. Now the walls are painted a sterile white. Her mom jumps at the smallest noises and looks over her shoulder, even when she's the only person in the room. And when Sam steps out back to clear her head, she finds a jar of teeth hidden beneath the magazine-worthy rose bushes, and vultures are circling the garden from above. To find out what's got her mom so frightened in her own home, Sam will go digging for the truth, but some secrets are better left buried. This is supposed to be really good. Alright, and then I have just this Hungry Girl by Lisa Lillian, Recipes and Survival Strategies for Guilt-Free Eating in the Real World. It's a cookbook. I had it when I was growing up, and I found it at the library, and it brings back memories, and I want to kind of take some of these recipes and see if I can figure them out for myself. So, yeah. And then we have movies. Yes, we have movies. Our hotspot goes back on Saturday in 2 days. So we need to get prepared because we're not going to have the luxury of Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and HBO Max. Or we don't have HBO Max right now. But Paramount Plus and Peacock and Pluto and all that. And YouTube. So I picked up Flowers in the Attic, The Origin, These Twisted Roots Run Deep. It's a Lifetime series. With this being a series, I'm excited. It's 4 episodes on 2 discs, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. And this goes back to the times of Flowers in the Attic, but it's a new spin on it. It is from 2022. So, yes, I'm here for it. Next, I found The Menu, and I'm not 100% sure what this is about, but it looks like it's going to be about delicious food. So, okay, I was hungry. Sue me. And lastly, I found Call Jane with Elizabeth Banks and Sigourney Weaver. It says You Are Not Alone. I have no idea what this is about. However, I've had my eye on this for about 2 weeks now. Maybe longer. Wait, no. I've had my eye on this for a hot minute. It's been up there. I am currently waiting on The Whale, Tar, I Want to Dance with Somebody, and Missing. So I'm waiting on those DVDs currently. But this looks like it's going to be good. And it's got Sigourney Weaver and Elizabeth Banks in it. So, yeah. So there's that portion. I know I just said there's that portion, but I'm going to cut the video short. It's almost at 20 minutes, and I know if I babble too much, people aren't actually going to watch. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you see me in my next video. I will be doing a thrift haul, and also a books that I am continuing from my shelves. So I hope you will stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!